spring market here?
No,
Are multiple offers back?
not really. But that's our title anyway. We're sticking to it.
Is activity increasing?
Not really. Yes.
Some products.
Yes. Yeah. That was not a one-word answer. Apologize, Denny. I'll be more concise.
Are there more buyers out there right now than there were in the fall?
Yes.
Are they more trigger happy? Meaning, are they ready to write offers?
No.
Yeah, that's the summary right there. Multiple offers. It's kind of curious, like, and unpredictable. What is getting multiple offers and what is not? Because there have been at least a handful of scenarios that I've been involved in the last couple of weeks that have seen multiple offers selling above asking, and these are price points that didn't exist 12 months ago. And in a lot of cases, these are like peak pricing. These are higher than sales were in 2022. But these are kind of few and far between. And when I ask the question, activity, it seems like activity on a typical listing, kind of entry-level single family in New West, that's 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. The activity at open houses is better. There's more people coming through than it was, in the fall than it was 12 months ago. But it's not, in a lot of cases, resulting in activity, meaning offers right away. So maybe we'll just kind of share some stories of where we've seen multiple offers recently, what's the reason that they're getting multiple offers versus what product types are still slow, what there's a lot of inventory for, and when those are going to turn around, if they will this year.
Well, time will tell, Denny. Yeah, I think to sum it up, we have, aside from our weather being a little bit up and down this year, we've had some snowstorms, some rainy weekends, but when the sun's come out in the last month or so, I've definitely noticed an uptick in open house activity, more shoes at the door, more people coming through, and also a lot of people in early stages. Yeah. A lot of people that, there's clear evidence a lot of people want to move, upgrade spaces or relocate, but not in a very little urgency out there. Yeah. Very little urgency. And we've seen these cycles before. Yeah. Groupthink. Everyone kind of moves at the same time. And I think the moment the headlines change to where we start seeing that trend of multiple offers and property selling quicker, everyone's going to jump in. Or I say everyone, but the masses will jump in and we'll see that 80% move alike. It's the 20% that are pulling the trigger right now that are going against the grain and in great buying conditions. And if you're running into multiple offers now, which you have week over week for the last, 6 weeks, I think every week. And we've had some success on our end as well from listings. Whatever's receiving multiple offers now is only going to be busier in 12 months. Yeah. And the ones that are getting all the attention are just, well, for single family, it's the lower price points, the entry-level price points, the turnkey homes. Yeah. Condos, they have more affordable price points. First-time buyers still want a one-bedroom, still want a two-bedroom. So, you still have to position yourself to compete. If you are looking to upsize and you are looking, or downsize, I think might be a little bit of a different story, but particularly on the upsizing equation, being ready for multiple offers is crucial. Multiple offers today doesn't mean over-asking, subject-free, no inspection. Yeah. It used to mean give us higher than list on our dates with no conditions. Now you can still get multiple offers with even a subject to sale, but not often. But multiple offers with a longer financing, longer close, time to do inspection, time to get your ducks in a row. And multiple offers can even end up at sale prices below list price. Doesn't always mean above list right now. Yeah.
Well, maybe just share some examples. And a lot of these, like Jamie just mentioned, are kind of on the lower end of affordability for a certain product type. So we've had two New West condos in the two-bedroom condos in the last 2 weeks get multiple offers. One was a purchaser that we helped buy. This is a downtown condo in a 12-year-old building, one of the better, more reputable buildings in downtown New West, that got 3 offers and sold above asking. We represented a seller in New West that was, again, affordability, lower end of a 2-bedroom price point in a pretty good neighborhood in New West. They got 3 offers and sold basically a record in the building for that size of a unit.
It's value.
It's value.
I think in both those cases, one was 90s built, call it 600-ish a square foot.
Yeah.
A little more, but it felt like a new layout. It didn't feel that old. It felt newer.
Yeah.
And the other one, I think in downtown New West was early 2000s built. Was it the 2-bedroom and den? And that was, what was that, like 700 a foot maybe?
Yeah.
And so that's, I think it was 2008-ish built, 700 a foot. That's value. You're not getting brand new countertops tile like today, but you're getting an overall building that doesn't look like it was from the 60s. It looks like a modern day building. Yeah. Those are the property, and that one's a 2-bedroom and den, and the other one was a 2-bedroom. So space in New West, 2 bedrooms, right value.
Yeah.
Gets multiples.
Yeah. On that note of value too, yesterday, this Coquitlam house got 5 offers. That was a really nice custom built home that was 7 or 8 years old. The one that you showed.
It's so good.
Sorry,
it was beautiful.
And speaking,
beautiful.
Yeah, there you go.
It was such a beautiful home, Carl. It was so good.
For the record, Jamie did not buy it.
I love that home. I was going to take videos of it, but I didn't because I thought our client was going to pull the trigger. But it was a beautiful home in Coquitlam, stunning views, custom built, a little bit underpriced. I think they could have priced it a bit higher. Super interesting place.
And that's one that is under replacement value. You look at that lot size, and that land value is 1.6, 1.7, maybe 1.6.
Yeah, it's on a slope. We give it 1.5. Yeah, call it. But that price, the 3,800 square feet at what looked like 500 a foot today's construction. Yeah, probably call it 400 a foot, but looked like 500 a foot. Yeah, but that's close to 1.5. Well, if you go at 400 a foot, 1.8 or 3,880 square feet is, what does that work out to? That's like 1.6 in building costs. And I don't think you could put that house up today for 1.6. No. So replacement value, call it $3 million, and it was priced at 2.6.
Listed at 2.6. Yeah. That got 5 offers. Been involved in a couple North Van homes, and again, it's like this sweet spot price point in North Van. Both homes were listed at 1.999. Yeah. And one of them got 5 offers. The other one got 3, I believe. Again, entry-level single-family North Van, around $2 million. The homes with good layouts or some updates are really, really active right now. And then a couple in North Burnaby. These are more long-term development style properties, but I guess value in terms of build potential. And one got 11 offers and the other got 3. So, and then the last one to mention was entry-level North Burnaby townhouse. That was listed just under $1 million, 2-bedroom townhome, 25 years old. That got 6 offers and sold a record in the complex as well. What's not getting multiple offers?
Brand new condos.
I thought you were going to say everything else. Everything other than those examples. Yeah. We were having this little brainstorming session a couple of days ago, and Denny was bringing up the idea of multiple offers back, and I'm like, "Are you sure?" So I run into them every week, last 6 weeks. I'm like, and then doing the research, I'm like, I think you've just run into everyone that's had a multiple offer. So no, they're not back, but we're having more buyers show up at open houses. Mm-hmm. We're not necessarily seeing more inquiries. So we're getting, what that tells me is we're not getting the serious buyers that want to transact right away, but we're getting more people that are planning for the future. When they see it, they're watching the market, they're on top of it. Yeah. Although I will say, more people coming through opens than the fall, which was a slow time. Not more people coming through the opens compared to this time last year. This time last year, I think opens were probably a little more active than we're seeing right now. But yeah, multiple offers are not prominent. But if you are looking, and usually the clients know when they're looking for something that's rare, because you've probably been looking for 12 months, or maybe you just started, but there's just nothing available that meet your criteria, the area. You just need to be ready. You need to be ready. And I think that what often happens is people get caught off guard, and that leaves them liking a house that's listed on the market and they're not ready to sell their place, and it feels too overwhelming and they can't compete. Start doing the paint touch-ups. Right now, we're having this podcast in mid-March. Who knows when it will be released, maybe late March. This is the time to spiff up your outside, get your landscaping in check, get your house cleaned up, do the painting where needed, do the repairs where needed. If you find a listing that you love and you find yourself in a multiple offer situation as a buyer, it's less daunting and it's more of an option that you can actually go for it if you have your home ready to sell. Doesn't mean that you're going to want to take the risk today, but at least you have the option to take the risk. Yeah. What do it's kind of an interesting time to prepare a client for multiple offers,
because a lot of the media, a lot of the headlines are saying the opposite. It's usually the ones that are been looking, are aware of what's out there, aware of what's going on, and recognize the value and willing to step it up in that moment. How rare is that? Like, are you fine? Like, what conversations are you having with clients going into that? We had, for that new West condo that got multiple offers, we did have a planned offer date. It's a bit of a risk right now doing a planned offer date. Worked out that time, might not work out the next time.
Yeah. Maybe we'll touch on like conversations with sellers in a second, but on the buyer side, I think it's just important to have those conversations. As a realtor working with people that are looking to upsize right now, there is the potential that you're running into multiple offers and you want to be prepared for that. I'd say the likelihood of it happening, depending on what neighborhood you're looking in, is fairly low at the moment. But if you don't have deposit funds ready, if you have, if you're a buyer and your deposit funds are in RSPs or in an investment account that take 3 to 5 days to get it out, you may miss something that you love because you run into another group that is more prepared than you. Same thing with getting finances in order, having a close relationship with your broker to be able to send them a listing and say, hey, this is looking at offers on Monday. We really love this one. Can we go for it, kind of thing. I've been in probably 5 or 6 scenarios recently where people are doing pre-inspections again. That, custom built home in Coquitlam that we just talked about had 3 pre-inspections on the weekend, and it looked at offers on Tuesday. The North Van home that I had a client offer on and we lost by $5,000.
Ooh.
That had 3 pre-inspections. So just having those conversations early with a client early on, and just noting that there is a possibility that we run into multiple offers right now if we're looking for a specific entry-level single family, townhouse, whatever that may be. Here's what this scenario looks like. These are the things to prepare. Hopefully we don't have to go down these steps of multiple offers and doing pre-inspections, but it's a possibility right now.
Like I said, I think that we're going to see more of these. I think you've run into all of them, not all of them, half of them. So. But we've done podcasts on this topic before. It's not something that we're seeing every week right now, but it is something that the good ones run into. I don't know, Denny. I think that it's more likely by the end of this year, I think we're going to see more multiple offers this fall than we do this spring, is my guess. And maybe I'm optimistic just over time because I thought we were going to see multiple offers by now. But right now we're just in a market where there's too much uncertainty for a lot of people to actually want to pay above list price on something. Yeah. I don't. Is there any advice you'd give to, say, a seller? I mean, right now I'm just talking openly, like the sellers that are trying to price their place for multiple offer situation. I don't think it's that market we can rely on it. Whereas before, there was a genuine strategy to underprice a place to get it bid up for cleaner terms and conditions. Now, maybe that's why sales ratios are down and months in inventory building up. People are pricing their places a little higher to leave room to negotiate. And by pricing a little higher, it leaves them out of the competition a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you seeing any situations right now where you would, I guess there's strategic cutoffs like $999 list price versus $1,050,000, but are you seeing any situations where you'd intentionally underprice something to get cleaner offers and more of them?
They're few and far between, but yes. And I think it's really, really seller specific and your situation specific. If you're downsizing, for example, a lot of these like homes that we're talking about, North Van, 2 million, a lot of those people have been in their homes for 25 years and they're thinking of downsizing this spring. And the inventory of homes under 2 million is almost non-existent. Like there's a few each week that come up, and the good ones in that area are getting multiple offers. And that's a really competitive, a really attractive price point in those neighborhoods, 2 million-ish. So this one specifically that got 5 offers, 3 pre-inspections that I mentioned, that one sold for $105K over list price. That's a pretty predictable market at the moment. But at the same time, in the negotiation back and forth, the listing agent mentioned to me that the seller was really looking for 2.2. I was like, well, that's not going to happen here. So I think it's a very specific conversation with a seller of like, what's your timeline look like? How quickly are you trying to sell? If you've purchased something and need dates to line up, then there is the potential to strategically price a listing. It's just you may not get exactly what you're looking for right now because the market is a little unpredictable and there isn't a ton of recent sales, at least in 2025 yet over the last couple months, that prove that your home in that scenario is worth 2.2 because it sold for 2.1.
I looked at about I think it was a sample of about 38 sales in North Burnaby and like Burnaby, North, South, and East. And it was about a 10%, like 1 out of 10 got multiple offers. And those are out of the products that sold. And to compare that against, say, 2022, 2021, there was a time where it was like 8 out of 10 got multiple offers. And then there was more hot market windows where it was like half got multiple offers. And this doesn't mean half of listings get multiple offers. It means half of the sales that actually happen. And right now, if the example is, say, if there's 100 listings in Burnaby and 15 of them sell in a given month, that means that 1.5 of them get multiple offers. Yeah. 1 or 2 of them.
A story, I didn't tell you this, but a story on the opposite side of the spectrum. There was a townhouse style unit, Cambie and 16th-ish, so like kind of towards the west side of Vancouver, that was originally purchased by the owner in 2023, so less than 2 years ago, for 1.35 plus GST. They listed at 1.5, didn't sell, dropped the price to $999 to try to get multiple offers, clearly to try to sell in that range of where they purchased it. Got one offer, and it was from my client that wrote $1 million. So I guess the point of that story is not every single low listing is a good idea to try to get multiple offers. That one obviously did not work.
Yeah, there was one in Dollarton that didn't work last year too. They tried to reduce a listing from like 2,899 to 1,999, and the seller wanted 2,500. Yeah, and anyway, didn't work. Yeah, didn't work. No, multiple. And I get, just kind of going into specifics. I don't know if you're aware of this, but like we have a irrevocable direction regarding presentation of offers. Yeah. So if you list a place today, you'd set that for Monday next week or Tuesday next week, and you'd have a set offer date. I just heard that they're taking away the irrevocable part, and it's going to be a direction regarding presentation of offers, which means that you have a planned offer date. You put that planned date in the public remarks, but if you get the bully offer early, you can take the early bully offer. And what I mean by that is the whole purpose, like years ago, when we had a hot listing, we just used to verbally set an offer date without a form, without paperwork being signed, and just tell people, hey, we're doing offers next Tuesday at 3. Because some people didn't stick to that next Tuesday at 3 because they got a good offer on the Friday before, and it upset a lot of people that missed out because they were planning for that next Tuesday offer date. They created a form that said, if you sign this form, you got to look at offers on that date. Now they're backtracking on that form.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new form yet, so I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. But that, I mean...
We just adjusted the form. We were like, oh, what's this new form? And now we're like, okay, it makes sense. It removes room for those bully offers and surprises that come in.
They added, I remember we did a podcast on this when that form was introduced, and you were pretty excited about the addition of irrevocable. Do you remember that?
Maybe. I don't know. Too much in his head.
The presentation of offers is being replaced by the irrevocable presentation of offers. That's exciting.
Sounds like something I'd get excited
about. I don't know how that's going to play out.
Less excited about the removal of it. But, it just goes back to how we were doing things before. And from my understanding, early days, not that this really impacts the public that much. It's just you're supposed to put the offer date in the public remarks now. Yeah. And all I would say is, from a buyer's perspective, if there's a listing that ticks all the boxes and this becomes the new norm, don't necessarily wait for that offer date. It's important to keep in touch with that agent. If they're going to look at an early offer, we're going to be going back to that world where, you might, whether you're the one that gives the early offer or whether you just want to be notified by it, it's going to be more important than ever just to communicate with the listing agent on any property that ticks all the boxes, as opposed to just not communicating at all and waiting. And I will say it seems to be a growing trend that less people call in than, 10 years ago. If you had 10 groups at an open house, you might get 5 calls during the week. Now you can have an open house with 10 groups with no calls during the week, just everyone shows up to the open house. Yeah. So I think that calling and keeping in touch with the listing agent for top tier listings is more important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say the reason that we're a bit hesitant on setting offer dates for a lot of product types right now is because the sales ratios are much lower than they were in 2021 and 2020 and early 2022. So maybe we'll just mention a few just to kind of give people an idea of why we're a little hesitant right now with offer dates versus just looking at offer as they come. So new S 2-bedroom condos, February 2025, sales ratio of 18%. That means roughly 2 out of 10 are selling in a given month. New S single family, 9.3% sales ratio.
There's some land assemblies. It's going to knock that down. Let's just give it the benefit of doubt and say it's double 9.3.
Yeah. So the numbers tell us 1 out of 10 single family homes is selling in a given month right now in New West. James Garbutt tells us 2 out of 10.
I say it's 2 out of 10. Ignore the stats. I'm right.
Brentwood condos, Brentwood condos under 1 million. 12.3% sales ratio, so just over 1 out of 10 are selling in a given month. What else? Burnaby North, single family over 3 million. So luxury in Burnaby North, 3.2% sales ratio. So 0.3 are selling in a given month out of 10.
You do not do an offer date for luxury real estate ever.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I shouldn't say ever, but you definitely don't do it now or for new condos, like brand new condos.
Except if you have a really nice custom built home on a Coquitlam lot with a view.
Yes.
That you underprice.
And underprice it 10% under replacement value. And build a beautiful home. It's a good one. The
maybe slightly surprising neighborhoods that we'll mention that have been really slow in the last couple of years as interest rates climbed. Maple Ridge 3-bedroom townhomes, 42% sales ratio. So almost half are selling in February. Langley 3-bed townhomes are bouncing back too with a 24% sales ratio. So roughly a quarter are selling every month.
That's a pretty high. That's higher than I expected.
I know. Maple Ridge 3-bedroom townhomes, 42%.
Because these are selling at prices lower than they saw in the past.
Yes.
Right? These are selling at, 10% under 2022, maybe even 20 in some cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely got hit hard as interest rates started climbing because they were really, really busy neighborhoods through COVID.
Granted, it's a very small percentage of people that bought at that peak window, and a lot of these sellers have equity.
Totally.
Yeah. So townhouses might be, townhouses may be a product to consider holding off on offers. And the reason you hold off on offers is to give it that full open house weekend, give it 7 days-ish to get as many buyers in the door as possible before you look at an early offer. The reason you don't do offers early, the pros and cons to it is, one, if you wait 7 days and you get more than one offer, it worked. You have options. If you wait 7 days and you get one offer or less, that one offer realizes they have no competition after a week on market and may impact your negotiating position.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the time aside from trying to create multiple offer situations, I think another reason why I would often hold off on offers in the past was because if an offer came in on a Thursday before my opening weekend and that buyer didn't remove subjects, I just lost all the hype of my new listing. So just be mindful of that. If you take an offer before the opening weekend and it's a conditional offer from a listing side, if that condition doesn't get removed, relaunching that listing on week 2 or 3 is not going to have the same impact as week 1. So it is a risky call to take that early offer, especially if it's conditional.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see what happens this spring and summer. But I think as we've kind of mentioned, but I think the busy season this year is pushed back a little bit, and it may be a smaller busy season, but it still feels like it's coming. And so I think if we recreated this podcast in June of this year or July of this year, for example, I think we'll have more scenarios than, a handful of one-offs kind of scattered around Greater Vancouver.
More people can afford to buy now than they could 12 months ago. So despite the uncertainty and headlines, I just think that we'll see the numbers uptick this spring, but I don't know if we're going to see sales numbers above the 10-year average. That would be the question. That is unknown. I could say confidently, I would be surprised if it happens based on what we're seeing right now. And maybe it does in the fall, maybe it does for a blip of a month in the summer, but I don't think that March sales are going to be above the 10-year average. I don't think April sales will be above the 10-year average. I think those will be below. And that's been the case for January and February. you take a wild stab. I mean, that's basically the crystal ball. We don't really have the ash to when are sales activity going to get above that 10-year benchmark. Mm-hmm. Any guess, Denny? Or is that just a wild random guess?
Consistently or 1 month?
1 month.
If anything, it's probably going to be June this year.
You think June? Just a little more pent up demand, June? I'll bet on October.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Let's see if we remember this bet.
Jamie's hoping there. I
think October is going to be the first month that we're going to see sales above the 10-year average, and you're saying June, and this is like a hard thing to bet on. That's kind of like random.
Yeah. It's sounding more and more likely that there's going to be more rate cuts this year. So October might be a pretty a good guess, because there is the next Bank of Canada meeting is April 14th. Then there's one in June. Then there's one end of July. So if there's 2 or 3 more rate cuts, it might be a busier fall. That's
what I'm betting on, Denny. Well, I'd like to see it sooner. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, but I think I will be. Let's leave it at that.